Hello, my dear people. If I might, I want today to deal with the Gospel of Luke. We have already entered into the church year, the new church year, and so over these next months we will be hearing the Gospel of Luke every Sunday practically, apart from the Easter season. So I want to get you ready, as it were, to appreciate this wonderful Gospel. The first thing to be said, of course, is that Luke writes two books of the New Testament. The Gospel of Luke is basically volume 1, and the Acts of the Apostles is volume 2. So today I'm going to tell you what I think are three main themes in the Gospel of Luke, and by understanding these main themes it will make the readings so much more meaningful. The first thing I want to say to you is that that Jesus was a Jew of his own time. He was an observant Jew. He comes from a family which was observant. And they were also not just observant of the law of God, they were observant of the law of the empire, the civil power. We know, for instance, as Luke tells us, that in the time of Caesar Augustus a decree went out that the whole world should be counted, and that Joseph went with his wife Mary to the town of Bethlehem, because he was of the tribe of David and the house of Judah, the house of Judah, house of David and the tribe of Judah. He was obeying the law of the emperor. He went down to obey the law. Likewise, we know that when he was 12 years old, Mary and Joseph took him down to the temple where they could do Passover, obeying the law of Moses. So they're observers of the law. But we must understand something else in Luke's Gospel. The people who observe the law only observe the law within the shadow of God's greater law. Jesus is a good citizen. He teaches other people to be good citizens, but he also reminds them that their real citizenship is in heaven, the kingdom of God. You remember in the finding in the temple, when Mary is so upset, he says to her, "Why did you look for me? Did you not know that I must be about my Father's business?" Mary and Joseph are looking for him, looking for him, looking for him. Of course, the law of God supersedes the law of man. The law of the world, for instance, confirms and protects private property and sees it as good for people to keep whatever they have, even if that's a greedy thing to do sometimes. Jesus does not tell people that it's wrong to have property. He says, be a property owner, but be a good, virtuous property owner. He meets the soldiers in the Gospel we had a few Sundays ago, the third Sunday of Advent. He doesn't tell them to stop being soldiers. He says, be a good soldier, obey your officers, and don't frighten the people and intimidate them for money. In other words, they must obey the law in the shadow of God's law. For instance, bankers who were charging exorbitant interest, taking maybe big bonuses. It's obeying the law. It doesn't break the law, at least. What Jesus says to them is, be a good banker. Observe the law of God above the law of man. Jesus doesn't condemn banking. He simply says, be a good banker. You know, we all of us have to be neighbors. Neighbors to our family, neighbors to our friends, to those strangers we don't even know. So what's Jesus saying to us as neighbors? He's saying, be a good neighbor. You don't stop being a neighbor, just be a good one.